Hello guys, welcome back to UPSC channel. Today we are going to discuss how to read newspaper in perspective of UPSC. How to read newspaper. See, there is a lot of difference between newspaper and current affairs. So we will go through newspaper first and see what to read, what not to read. So let's go into the topic. What to read in newspaper. Actually, in market we will find many newspaper. Example, the Hindu, Indian Express, etc. etc. You will find. But I recommend you who are preparing for UPSC, please go through the Hindu and Indian Express, because see in the Hindu newspaper, the articles and editorials are very good. If we go to Indian Express, you will find a lots of articles or topics, news related to economics, which is useful. So let's go into the topic, what to read, what not to read in the newspaper. What to read in the newspaper. What to read in the newspaper. You can see every paper contain approximately 10 to 11 pages. So clearly here I'm taking the Hindu newspaper. At the end of this video I will show the newspaper, how to read, and how many pages are there in the newspaper, and what to read, what not to read. So the reference is the Hindu newspaper. See what to read. You can read front page of the Hindu newspaper. Last page. In the last page you have to read selectively, not total the page, just you read selectively. See in the front page you can see whatever the news is covered in all the pages. Example, see, I will show you. Here you can see example, X principal of RG car, 3 others arrested by CBI. And here they have mentioned only a simple topic, but they have mentioned here page 14. So the reference of this news will be continued in page number 14. So the front page is main, so read the front page totally, last page selectively, and business page, business news selectively, this also selectively, business page, and world news is very, you have to read very selectively, because see, world news contain which is connected to India and which is not connected to India. So you have to avoid the news which is not connected to India. Just read which news is connected to India, and read selectively, not completely. Most important. most important thing from newspaper, read news which is related to nation and editorials, articles. So editorials are important because through editorial you can learn how to write answer writing. They will mention every point to point, so you will get a brief idea about how they analyzed the issue, and how they are point out the issue, and how they are mentioned in the newspaper. So read news which is related to nations and editorials. So this is enough for UPSC candidate. And what not to read, what not to read, what not to read. See, whenever you are reading a newspaper, you definitely there is some news regarding political, some science, business, world news, sports, etc., etc. So avoid political news. Avoid political news. This is not necessary for UPSC, because see, political news is related to some governments or state-wise issues, but those are not mentioned in UPSC. So avoid political news. And factual science news, you can see a factual science news in last page, in the end of the newspaper. In the last page you can see this factual science news. So avoid this page also, because from this you will not gain any knowledge related to UPSC. And business news, see, in business news you will cover related to India and not related to India. So read selectively from related to India, not from outside the India. So I recommend here for business you can refer Indian Express, and world news which is not affecting India. Means here the point is, don't read the news which is not affecting the India. Already in the business news also I have told that don't read which is not connected to India. So basically from the news which is not connected to the India, don't read from business and world. Okay, so these things should you follow. Actually the thing is, see, who are beginners, for example, I have started my preparation in 2022. I used to read only news related to sports, and I have avoided all other news. So when I have started my preparation in 2022, up to 3 hours I used to read newspaper. Up to 3 hours I used to read newspaper. So what I have understood is, don't read sports news, means selectively which is important to UPSC, and avoid political news because these are not important to UPSC, and world and business news which is not affecting India. Avoid these news also. So within 1 month I got a good point of view on newspaper. So what to read, what not to read. See, here I am mentioning within 1 or 2 days you won't get the idea how to read newspaper in with respect to UPSC. So don't read newspaper 15 to 20 minutes in first reading. Just go through the newspaper, read point to point. When you was a beginner, within 1 to 15 days you will get a clear vision on newspaper. So short summary, newspaper. First thing, what to read? first page, second, last page, but selectively. Third, business, very selectively. World news, very selectively. Fifth news, important, 5 star. News related to nations and editorials, not to read. First thing, political. Second, factual, science news. Last page. Third, world news, which is not affecting India. So I recommend for beginners, read Hindu newspaper or Indian Express. This is my point of view. Whether you should read or not, this is up to you. So I recommend these two newspapers. So in case if you read the Hindu newspaper, follow these restrictions which I have mentioned above. And what I have to say, Indian Express. See, Indian Express is mainly for economics, not only for mainly economics. It's all about economics, economy. So if you want to read Indian Express, you can go with Indian Express or the Hindu newspaper. I am reading the Hindu newspaper, so it is enough for me. See, in my point of view, when I was reading, in the first month I used to read 3 hours. After 1 month I used to read almost 1 hour. So when you are good with the newspaper, day by day your standard will increase, and one day you may read 15 minutes. So the point is here is not to why you are reading 15 minutes, not 3 hours. It is not necessary. So that is ability of the aspirant. See, in the 15 minutes I will cover the newspaper. See, for beginners, they will not cover whole newspaper in 15 minutes. Maybe it's take 3 or 4 hours. So it's take time. So please go with newspaper. And one thing, some will say I am reading newspaper, so I am reading current affairs, so why should I read newspaper? See, whatever news is mentioned in newspaper, the current affairs which are providing some institute, they will minimize the data which are mentioned in newspaper and they will make a note. So sometime you will lose some points from current affairs. So read newspaper, so you will get basic idea about the answer and the topic and the whatever news they have provided in the newspaper. So please, I request to go through newspaper, not current affairs. Okay, you can go current affairs, but after reading newspaper. So let's go to the newspaper and once check how they are distributed the news. You can see here. See, already I mentioned, read first paper because front paper. You can see here, this is Netflix to replay on row over the hijack series. This is not necessary for UPSC. Why? Because whatever the news is mentioned in all the papers were given in the first paper. So read the first paper carefully, then you will get a point of view on other pages. So you will definitely automatically you will avoid some news. Law does not allow raising of home of accused. See, these type of questions are important. Here they have mentioned law. Maybe in this topic they will mention some law related to this. So just go through this. uh, Here they have mentioned, continue to page 12. This flood in AP Telangana leaves thousands of homeless. This is also not important. This is also not important. Congress raised fresh charge against SCBI chief. This is also not important. This is also not important. Not important. Not important. BJP ML. This is not related to UPSC. So avoid these all things. And ED arrest. This is also not interested. This is also not interested. So UPSC perspective. See, these all things are marketing. So avoid these also. Jharkhand CM orders 3 days of quick constable hiring drive. This is also not important. This is related to Jharkhand. See, this is important in perspective of essay. You can use these news in essay. So this is important. Not only in essay, if you read sociology or anthropology or optional, these will help in these news will help in optionals. Not important. 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 See, all these are political news. I have said political news are not important. So avoid political news. So here we can see editorial. These are important, very important. See here, dealing with China Africa forum that India must track. This is related to international maybe. You can go with some business news in this. So see, why have said read this editorial, because they will mention clearly. So don't avoid this editorial. This is the main first step for UPSC who are reading newspaper. So don't avoid this newspaper. Go with this newspaper. Everything, the disaster management, this is amendment bill. Here you can disaster management related, and you can get polity amendment bills. Another escalation, the drones attack in Manipur calls for an overhauling the government approach. Internal security, international relations. So see, you can see here, you can see Vinisha Pogata in feminism in Haryana. So you may think this is not helpful in GS papers. Why do you think like that? It may be helpful in essay writing or any other optionals. See, here you can see there are some state newses. So some are important, some are not important. It is up to you. Limited access to mental health care despite rising demand. These also important. This news also. See, here you can see business news. If this is related to on Germany electoral architecture, if this news is related to India, you can go through this. Otherwise, you may think it is not related to India. Even though you should read, because if this is related to electoral election commission related news, so they may ask here in Germany they have amended a new bill regarding elections. So this is mentioned in Germany. So they will ask, in Germany the electoral architecture is like this. Whether you are advising election commission of India to change some election system which is changed in Germany electoral. So these type of questions will be framed. So you can read what is Economy news. Science and tech news. You have to read. PM visit to Brunei, Singapore to focus on trade and technology. This is new. Important. This is BJP MLA asked Shah to withdraw central force from. This is not important. This is not important. This is not important. Not important. Not important. Not important. Not important. Not important. So avoid all these news. So then only you can get nice view. All these are no need of it. No. See. All these are not important. Not important. Not important. Science news. Selectively you have to read. Selectively. When you non-main question. Selectively you have to read. Selectively. Very selectively you have to read. So I think you have got some idea regarding how to read newspaper. So I will mention one more time what to read, what not to read. First, front page. Last page. Selectively. Third, business. Selectively. Fourth, world. Very selectively. Fifth, important. News related to nations. And editorials. Then next, not to read. Political. Factual science news. I have mentioned in the last page. World news, which is not affecting India. Business news, which is not affecting India. You can read any type of newspaper which is good for you. You can also read current affairs, but without newspaper don't read current affairs. So this is the end of the video. So if you like the video, please subscribe, like and comment. So furtherly I will go with the topics which is good for UPSC subject wise. So follow the channel and be updated. Thank you.